to read another chapter of my favorite book series. I have a candle lit, so that's why it's kind of dark. I'm not trying to purposely make it spooky, but it kind of uncoincidentally is. It kind of is working well with the season of things, but I'm not too particularly that into it. So this is just me reading this story to you, and luckily, I guess it kind of pertains if you like that type of stuff. So whatever. Let's get into the main part. The main part is me reading. I'm stalling. Clearly. Okay. I hope I can read a lot better this time. Okay. I do not need much sleep, 2 hours at most, which I usually take when the sun is at its brightest. Sunlight does not affect me, although it is not the mortal enemy Bram Stoker imagined in his tale of Count Dracula. I read the novel Dracula when it first came out. In 10 minutes, I have a photographic memory with 100% comprehension. I found the book delicious. Unknown to Mr. Stoker, he got to meet a real vampire when I paid him a visit one dreary English evening in the year of 1899. I was very sweet to him. I asked him to autograph my book and gave him a big kiss before I left. I almost drank some of his blood. I was tempted, but I thought it would have ruined any chance he would have a writing sequel. Excuse me. Which I encouraged him to do. Humans are seldom able to dwell for any length on things that truly terrifying them. Even though the horror writers of present think otherwise, but Stoker was a perceptive man. He knew there was something unusual about me. I believe he had a bit of a crush on me. But the sun, the internal flame in the sky, it diminishes my powers. During the day, particularly when the sun is straight up, I often feel drowsy. Not so tired that I am forced to rest, but weary enough that I lose my enthusiasm for things. Also, I am not nearly so quick or strong during the day, although I am still more than a match for any mortal. I do not enjoy the day as much as the night. I love the blurred edges of the dark landscapes because I dream of visiting Pluto. Yet the next day I am busy at dawn. First I call the three businessmen responsible for handling my accounts, each located on different continent, and tell them I am displeased to learn that my finances have been examined. I listen to each protestation of innocence and detect no falsehood in their voices. My admiration for Mr. Riley's detecting abilities climb a notch. He must have used a subtle means to delve into my affairs, or else he had help. Or, sorry, I'm like trying to become a better reader, so bear with me. Of course, I know he had help, but I also believe he turned against the man who sent him to find me. When he realized how rich I was, he must have thought that he could score more handsomely by going after me directly. That leads me to suspect that whoever hired Riley does not know the exact details of my life, where I live, and such. But I also realize he noticed Riley's disappearance and and come looking for whoever killed him. I have time, I believe, but not much. My nature, I prefer to be the hunter, not hunted. Yes, indeed, I vow I will kill those who hired Riley as surely as I wiped him from the face of the earth. I make arrangements, though my American businessmen, to be enrolled at Mayfair High that very day. The wheels are set in motion, and suddenly I have a new identity. I am Laura Adams, and my guardian, Miss Adams, will visit the school with my transcript and enroll me in as many of Ray Riley's classes as possible. It has not taken me long to learn that son's name. The arm of my influence is as long as the river of blood I have left across history. I will never meet this fake Miss Adams, and she will never meet me, unless she should talk about her efforts on Laura's behalf. Then, if that happens, she will never talk again. My associates respect my desire for silence. I pay them for that respect. That night, I'm restless, thirsty. How often do I need to drink blood? Begin to crave it after a week's time. If a month goes by, I can think of nothing other than my next dripping throat. I also lose my strength if I go too long, but I do not die without it, at least not readily. I have gone for as long as 6 months without drinking human blood. I only drink animal blood if I am desperate. It is only when I feed from a human that I feel truly satisfied, and I believe it is the life force in the blood that makes me hungry for it more than the physical fluid itself. I do not know how to define the life force except to say that it exists. The feel of the beating heart when I have a person's vein in my mouth, the heat of their desire, the life force in an animal is of a much cruddier density. When I suck on a human, it is as if I absorbed a portion of the person's essence, their will. It takes a lot of willpower to will for 50 centuries. Reading that just shows how you have a personal essence. Humans do not turn into vampires after I bite them. Not nor do they change into one if they drink my blood. Blood that is drunk goes through the digestive tract and is broken down into many parts. I do not know how the legend started that oral exchange could bring about the transformation. I can only make another vampire by exchanging blood with the person, and not just a little blood. My blood has to overwhelm the other person's system before he or she becomes immortal. Of course, I do not make vampires these days. I drive south along the coast. I am in Northern California. Before I stop, it is late. There is a bar off the side of the road, fairly large. I make a smooth entrance. The men look me over, exchange glances with their buddies. The bartender does not ask me for my ID. Not after I give him a hard glance. There are many more men than women around. I am searching for a particular type, someone passing through, and spot a candidate sitting alone in the corner. He is big and burly and unshaven. His warm jacket is not dirty, but there's an oil stain that did not come out from the last cleaning. His face is pleasant enough, sitting behind his frosty beard, but a tad lonely. He is a long-distance truck driver. I know the type. I have often drunk from their veins. I sit down in front of him, and he looks up in surprise. I smile, and the expression can disarm as well as alarm, but he is happy to see me. He orders me a beer, and we talk. I do not ask if he is married, although it is obvious he is. He does not bring it up. After a while, we leave, and he takes me to a motel. Although I would have been satisfied with the back of his truck, I tell him as much, but he pats my leg and shakes his head. He's a gentleman. I won't kill him. It is while he is undressing me that I bite into his neck. The act makes him sigh with pleasure and lean his head back. He is not he is not really sure what I am doing. He stays in that position the whole time I drink, hypnotized with the sensation, which to him feels as if he's being caressed from the inside out with the tip of my nails, which to me feels like it always does, sweet and as natural as making love. But I do not have sex with him. Instead, I bite the tip of my own tongue and let a drop of my blood fall into his wounds. They heal instantly, leaving no scar. I lay him down to rest. I have drunk a couple pints. He will sleep deep. Maybe wake up with a slight headache. Forget, I whisper in his ears. He won't remember me. They seldom do. I hope that was recording, because I was reading a lot. The next morning, I sit in Mr. Castro's history class. My cream-colored dress is fashionable, on the rich side. Embroidery hem swing 4 inches above my knees. I have very nice legs, and do not mind showing them off. My long, wavy blonde hair hangs loose on my shoulders. I wear no makeup or jewelry. Ray Riley sits off to the right, and I study him with interest. Class will begin in 3 minutes. His face has depth his fathers never imagined. He is cut in the mold of many handsome modern youth, with curly brown hair and chiseled profile. Yet his inner character pushes through his natural beauty and almost makes a mockery of it. The boy is already more man than boy. It shows in his brown eyes, soft but quick. He is in his silent pauses. He takes in what his classmates say. He reflects on it, either accepts or rejects it. Not caring what the others think, he is his own person. Ray Riley, I like that about him. He talks to a girl on his right. Her name is Pat. She is clearly his girlfriend. She is scrawny. She is a scrawny thing, but with a smile that lights up whenever she looks at Ray. Her manner is assertive, but not pushy, simply full of life. Her hands are busy, often touching him. I like her as well and wonder if she is going to be an obstacle. For her sake, I hope not. Honestly, prefer not to kill young people. Pat's clothes are simple, a blouse and jeans. I suspect her family has little money, but Ray is dressed sharp. It makes me think of the million I offered his father. Ray does not appear upset. Probably his father often disappeared for days at a time. Probably his father often disappears for days at a time. I clear my throat and he looks over at me. Hello, he says. Are you new? Hi, I say. Yes, I just checked in this morning. I offer a dainty hand. My name's Laura Adams. Ray Riley. He shakes my hand. His touch is warm, his blood healthy. I can smell blood through people's skin and tell if they are seriously ailments. Ailments. Even years before the disease manifests. Ray continues to stare at me. I bat my long lashes. Behind him, Pat has stopped talking to another classmate and looks over. "Where are you from?" he says. "Colorado." "Really? You have a slight accent." His comment startles me because I am a master of accents. "What accent do you hear?" I ask, genuinely curious. "I don't know. English? French? It sounds like a combination." I have lived in both England and France for extended periods of time. "I have traveled a lot," I say. "Maybe that's what you hear." "Must be." He gestures to his side. "Laura, this is my girlfriend, Pat McQueen. Pat, meet Laura Adams." Pat nods. "Hi, Laura." Her manner is not the best defensive. Her manner is not the least defensive. She trusts in Ray's love and in her own. That is going to change. I, I think of Riley's computer, which I have left in this office. It will not be terribly long before the police comes to look around and maybe take the computer away. But have not taken the machine because I would not I don't know what just happened. Because I would have no way of explaining to Ray what I was doing with it, much less be able to convince him to open his data files. "Hello, Pat," I say. "Nice to meet you." "Same here," she says. "That's a beautiful dress." "Thank you." I would have preferred to have met Ray without Pat around. Then it would have been easier for him to start a relationship with me without her between us. Yet I am confident I can gather Ray's interest. What man could resist what I have to offer? My eyes go back to him. "What are we studying in this class?" I ask. "European history," he says. "The class just gives a broad overview. Right now we're talking about the French Revolution. Know anything about it?" "I knew Marie Antoinette personally." I lie. "I knew of Antoinette, but I was never close to the French nobility, for they were boring. But I was there, in the crowd, the day Marie Antoinette was beheaded. I actually sighed when the blade sliced across her neck. The guillotine was one of the few methods of execution that disturbed me. I had been hanged a couple of times and crucified on 4 separate occasions, but I got over it. But had I lost my head, I know that would have been the end. I was there at the start of the French Revolution, but I was in America before it ended." "Did she really say, 'Let them eat cake'?" Ray asked, going along with what he thought was a joke. "I believe it was her aunt who said that." The teacher, Miss Castro, enters the room, a sad-looking example of a modern educator, if ever there was one. He only smiles at the pretty girls as he strides to the front of the room. He is attractive in a aftershave commercial sort of way. I nod to him. "What's he like?" Ray shrugs. "Not bad, but not good." Ray sizes me up. "I think he'll like you." Understood. Okay, I'm going to finish off right here, and I'll be back tomorrow to read the rest of chapter 2. Hopefully, my vocabulary will be up to par and I can read a lot better. Because this was kind of abrupt and I just did it. Anyways, deuces.